All right, guys, welcome back. My name is Jack Paisley, and this is the Sports Casual. We have some breaking news on this fine Tuesday day. Coming out of Atlanta, the Atlanta Falcons have decided to bench Kirk Cousins and start Michael Penix Jr. for the remainder of this season. And I called it, guys. Like they looked pretty bad in their last game, so props to me. Pat myself on the back, well deserved by me. But yeah, Michael Penix is going to be taking over. Everybody in basically that's a fan of the NFL could have seen this one coming. Drafting Michael Penix eighth overall with Kirk Cousins coming off that torn Achilles. This was just a disaster waiting to happen. And with Kirk not falling out basically after the first couple weeks of the season, everybody was calling for this move to happen. Um, Even though the Falcons won this last Monday Night Football, they did not look great. Looked pretty shaky offensively. So Raheem Morris, he he pulled the trigger. Said we're rolling with the younger guy right now. And so they announced that he's going to be starting against the Giants, which, let's be fair, of all of the teams to start against, the Giants is going to be one of the better matchups. They're just not a great football team overall. And then the Falcons are still actually in playoff contention. Last I checked, they have about a 29% chance of making the playoffs, so they are still in that wild card mix, but they need some stuff to go their way. They don't fully control their destiny at this point. Um, so yeah, you really couldn't wait to make this move if you're the Falcons. You have to pull the trigger now before those odds get even longer, and then you're hoping for the Titans to beat the Saints or whoever they needed in that weird mathematical system where they need those long shot games. We had to try to minimize that by pulling the trigger and starting Michael Penix. But this doesn't guarantee that he's going to be better. Like the thing that we're forgetting is Michael Penix is a rookie. He is an older rookie, to be fair. Played a lot in college, but he is still an NFL rookie. Like we haven't seen what he can do other than that kind of garbage time when he came in for a little bit. But outside of that, like you're rolling the dice with this kid. That you're putting your whole playoff hopes on this rookie that has not played at all. And now we're in week 15 or 16 of the NFL season. That this is kind of a desperation play by, in my opinion, by the Falcons. But I'm excited to see it because if if any team can do it coming down the stretch with a rookie, it's this Falcons team because they're going to play the Giants, who's a terrible team, the Commanders, which to be fair, they should lose that game. But they're not like this Ravens style like bully you ball defense. They're a solid defense, but they're nothing special in terms of a historical defense. And then you're ending with the Panthers, which is they were in the running for one of the worst teams ever earlier in the season. So I still do think they have a chance, but you're rolling the dice with something that you don't know what the is going to look like when it's actual go time. So you're going to be learning on the fly, and yeah, we'll see if this season goes from everybody touting them as this potential favorite to win their division, compete in the playoffs with Kirk Ice with his chains, that now they're crossing their fingers on a rookie that they drafted that no one saw them in the quarterback market for. And now you're gonna run into the issue of what are you gonna do with Kirk Cousins? Because at this point you can't go back. Like you've turned the keys over to your rookie quarterback. Like it's not like he's gonna go play bad against the Giants. Then you're like, oh my bad, my bad. We're putting Kirk in for this final little push down the season. You can't do that. The are you cutting Kirk Cousins? I saw that saves I think 65 million in dead cap money, so that's probably your best option is cutting this guy a year after you sign him, and somebody else will take a chance on him if he's a quarterback. Everybody is gonna at least think about it. Or you could try to trade him. I don't think he has a ton of trade value at this point. Like any team is gonna probably lean towards trying to draft a rookie. I mean, the best thing that for them is that it's not a historically great rookie QB class, kind of like this last year. but you're gonna have some limits on what you can actually do with this guy because he's old. He's coming off of a major Achilles injury, which uh, that's not an easy injury for anybody to come through. The only thing that he's got on his side in that is he's not a running quarterback. That's the only thing that is kind of on his side in that regard with that injury. But outside of that, it's going to be tough to move on that guy and trade him for anything more than I would guess a sixth round pick would they'd be lucky to get out of. Um, but yeah, so we're in the Michael Penix era in the Atlanta Falcons. So it's definitely gonna bump viewership up this weekend because I want to see what this kid's got. Outside of that, today we had the showdown between Scotty Scheffler, Rory McIlroy, Brooks Koepka, and Bryson DeChambeau, which the big storyline to this whole event was basically the PGA Tour versus LIV Golf, and frankly, I didn't think it delivered. I To be fair, Rory and Scotty showed up, played some pretty good golf overall, but Bryson and Brooks really just couldn't get going. They putted terrible off the tee. They weren't great. It, it, they just didn't play great. As simple as that. And I think the thing they screwed up with here is there was no electricity in there. No one. It wasn't like they were trying to go for like a little bit of an abbreviated Ryder Cup format, and one of the reasons the Ryder Cup is as popular as it is in the golf world, there's actual like tension. Like you see people talking shit to each other. The fans are chirping. The players are flipping off the crowd. Like there's actual like animosity almost in a sports context. And in this one, you got two of the nicest guys in Bryson DeChambeau and Scotty Scheffler, and then Rory can talk, but he just didn't. Same with Brooks. And to be fair, Brooks and Bryson weren't really playing well enough to where I was expecting them to talk a lot. But you're basically watching this event, and it's just for the golf. Like the highlights, other than the couple of golf shots, which was basically Rory in the first four holes, was Charles Barkley and Bubba Watson like kind of going at each other and making fun of each other. That was kind of the highlight of this. I do think the one thing that Liv benefits from here is it does show that David Faraday is still the best golf commentator in my opinion in the world. But it's a commentary thing. So I think that the format needs some work. It's so slow because you're following one group that they're walking, and I do think they would have benefited from having basically four other players so you can bounce between two holes and you can actually kind of keep a general viewership pace because it was just very slow. It's very they both drive, or at one point they were playing alternate shots. So two of the four players would drive, and then you have to watch them drive up to the ball, figure out their yardages, all that stuff. And when you don't have guys talking shit or like there was no gamesmanship, there's no like giving stupid putts. There's they weren't really like trying to do the stupid shots that make golf fun to watch. That it was just kind of an in terms of entertainment value, especially if you're not a diehard golfer. That I enjoyed watching them all play golf together, and it's nice that they all get along because the whole narrative is that these live guys hate the PGA Tour guys and vice versa, especially with Rory with how much shit he's talked on the live golf since its inception. But I thought it was a good stepping stone if they can kind of add to it and manipulate it a little bit, and you gotta increase some of the drama because there just wasn't any drama. The golf wasn't good enough to where the golf was stressing you out, where you're like, oh, I don't know, maybe Bryson might pull this out somehow, but only if Rory fucks up, and there wasn't that level of golf, and then there's no animosity in terms of shit. Like Rory McIlroy just lost to Bryson DeChambeau in the U.S. Open in a heartbreaking fashion, and you didn't hear any of that. He was whipping these guys. He should have been like, yeah, suck it. You're not better than me. You had one lucky day, and I'm embarrassing you in front of the world. Like you need that level of shit talk to one maybe bring out some of the better golf from these guys, but also just to it's a viewership. I think that basically since these matches started, where it was like Phil and Tiger, it got overinflated because one, Tiger just brings views. Like he's the one golfer in the world that whenever he plays, other than maybe his son now, uh, brings eyeballs. Outside of that, you need something they're playing for, like for their country, the prestige of the tournament, and none of that was here. So with these matches, once Phil Mickelson, who's the only pro that they've had that will actively talk shit and make stupid bets and is just fun to watch, they've put out these meh products. Like this was significantly better than the one where, it was Charles and Phil and Steph and Peyton. Like I like that they brought back those pros. I want to watch the best in the world, but you got to get guys that'll talk shit or play so outrageously exciting that it offsets. But either way, I watched the whole thing. It was in a bad way to spend a couple hours. I thought it was entertaining. Rory and Scotty ended up taking the dub in that one pretty convincingly, so good on them. And the PGA Tour, I'm sure they'll be bragging about it, even though they didn't say anything in the lead up trying to promote this. So all the guys from LIV were the only ones that I saw promoting. But either way, good for them. And yeah, I'm excited to see the Michael Penix era as well. So this has been Jack Paisley, the Sports Casual. Thank you for watching.